Halloween
forever.
Oh, I ate a lot of fucking Hamburger Helper and a lot of hot dogs on just white bread instead of buns. Hot dog buns. Oh, yeah. That was like my shit. That Hamburger Helper, fucking SpaghettiOs. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did I ever tell you about just how I'd take cold hot dogs and cut holes in them and put hot sauce in those holes? What? And just no bun, even just eat the dog with the hot sauce.
What? Why are we wasting this gold without the podcast starting?
It's recorded. It's recorded in some fashion.
Are we gonna do a soft intro about Steve what he puts in his hot dog holes?
I bet you he still does that. You still do it. I mean, that's kind of genius, though. Put a straw through it and like put your ketchup and mustard through it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I was a gifted kid.
You're an innovator.
Yeah.
You know, they have that hot dog. Well, not anymore, but they did. Where they had that where it had like the chili inside it. It was like Hormel. It was like a Hormel. Mm-hmm. You remember that? It was
because they still have the cheese ones, but then they flew too close to the sun trying to put the chili in.
They tried to put the chili in. So there's like two different types of meat, like meat inside meat. It was an abomination unto God, and then it just melted your fucking face off when you took a bite because it was like radioactive hot.
Yeah, yeah, it was worse than a Hot Pocket or a pizza roll.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, before we dig any deeper into, all the things we hide in our hot dog holes, I
don't think I have one of those.
You don't have a hot dog hole? Well,
Megan, everybody has at least 2 hot dog holes. So
I've got a couple hot dog holes. I mean, hot dog airtight over here. All right, guys, why did the Scarecrow win an award?
He was outstanding in his field.
He was outstanding in his field. Points go to Steve. Welcome, boys and ghouls, to a motherfucking Minisode. Starting out strong with the Halloween is Forever crew. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve, the champ of the show and the champ of riddles.
He's the champ of... That was a little bit of a riddle, wasn't it? You think about, you know what? Maybe that, and you know what? You guys have missed easier ones. So I feel
like you've you won a Boy Scout award for that one. That's all you get.
Yeah, it was an award's an award. That's all I'm.
Take a badge.
Yeah.
Patch, yeah.
Guys, we got a fun little episode, little mini-sode for you here today. Something a little bit different. We've not done this before, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be able to talk about a lot of different flickies because we're going to talk about how we all watched the 2023 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards on Shudder. And we're going to talk a little bit about some exciting things that happened on there, some less than exciting things that happened on there, some flubs, some snubs, some fucking, I don't know, what other kind of bullshit Oscar headlines do you see? We're going to do those types of things because the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards is a little bit kind of like that, but obviously not even close and on an infinitely smaller budget, and there's no live audience. But there were some exciting things, including some folks who we've had as guests on the podcast who were nominated. In fact, multiple guests, and we don't even have guests that often. Multiple guests were nominated for awards, and one of them even won an award. So we'll talk about that here in a hot sec. But we had a couple other things we had to do before that. We are going to pick our showdown topic movies for our June Showdown, which will be next month. We got an extra little Monday in May, which is fun. So we're doing this little kind of extra mini-sode. But next Monday is going to be our June Showdown episode, which I'll remind you, the topic that you helped us choose, you sweet and sour, saucy listeners out there, you helped us choose Redneck Shenanigans. So we're going to choose our Redneck Shenanigan movies here in a hot sec. If you have any desire in the future to help us pick these topics, or you just have suggestions for us to throw on that old spinny wheel that we choose our topics from every month, and then throw it out there for y'all to help us vote on, send them in the old DMs. Follow us on the social medias at Halloween is Forever on TikTokies and Instagrams and Twitters and Facebooks and all those sorts of things. And then if you have any, topic suggestions for minisodes, actually last week we did a movie that was a listener suggested one, which was a lot of fun, the wacky ass Indian horror movie. But before we get into all that some bitch and shit, let's talk about some beers here. We are sliding on into Memorial Day weekend, guys. We're shuffling. We're karaokeing into Memorial Day weekend. So we're getting after some beers.
Do you own a karaoke machine?
I do actually, but I was thinking karaoke was like that side thing. Yeah, I don't know how to take that, but yes, I do. And I do enjoy karaoke. And I have been known to sing some Danzig on the old karaoke machine. It's my children.
Which Danzig song?
I'll get down on some How the Gods Kill, which is Samhain. I have been known to do that like right after somebody does like Natalie Imbruglia. Then I come up and I'm like, you don't agree.
Man, if you ever want to just really, really take it down and just ruin everybody's time, Blood and Tears off Lucifuge 2. God, it's such a gothic crooner song.
Yeah.
Of Danzig just go, blood and tears.
Yeah. Well, I like She Rides too, because that's a little bit like that too. It's not necessarily as croonery. It's a blues riff, basically. It's just a rip off, like a heavier blues riff, but that's a fun karaoke song too. But yeah, I'll do some Paul Simon. That's a go-to for me. Yeah, I'll do some Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac. I'll do No Diggity by Blackstreet. That's one I've been known to do.
That's solid.
Yeah.
I could see you also doing the dip.
When I put my hand. Dip?
Yeah.
Like in a scenario, perhaps if I were to dip and then you were to dip and then we both dip.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. I forgot about that song, but yeah, that's a good one. But I don't know. What's your, before we get into beers, what's your karaoke song, Meg? What's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't really do karaoke because I'm like super anxious about doing that sort of stuff. When it's like been a smaller setting and like,
I was gonna say, there's definitely no one at a just bar. Blacked out drunk and you hopped up there.
I've definitely done Killing Me Softly before.
Oh hell yeah, Little Fuji for Lauryn Hill.
That's been that was always a big go-to.
That's like one of Kate's favorite songs. She loves that song.
It's great. It's
a great song.
Yeah. I think I have dreams that maybe a Dolly Parton would be in my future, like a 9 to 5, maybe.
Ooh, 9 to 5, classic.
I haven't done it, but maybe in my future, for sure.
I have done Tie My Heart in parentheses in a double knot by Dolly Parton on karaoke as well. I have done that. Steve, what's your karaoke song?
It depends on how drunk I am.
Yeah.
But like medium drunk is usually just Johnny Cash stuff.
Yeah. You got the voice. You gotta play the cards you're dealt.
Yeah. Because I also usually try to mimic the singer at least.
Sure.
Because that's what you're supposed to do. But like,
that's what I do when I do Mark Morrison. I'm like, oh my God.
See that, and that's why I stay away from Michael McDonald. I can't do that. So.
No, but if I were to name some of my friends who would not do a good Michael McDonald, I think I might pick you top of the list.
Yeah. So yeah, medium drunk is Johnny Cash, and then depending on how aggressively drunk, it's like between Bon Jovi or I'll do Ace of Spades by Motorhead.
Hell yeah,
solid.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Ace of Base for a sec. I got pretty excited.
I actually would have questioned a lot of things if it was Ace of Base.
I have never seen the sign on a microphone, so
I've never seen the sign. I personally have never seen the sign. I've opened up my eyes and still haven't seen the sign.
Nope.
Someone told me they came out as like Nazis.
Ace of Base?
Yeah, like there's some tie to like some like Nazi propaganda related things. Just Google it. I had a bunch of people be like, "Yeah, they had a dark past," and I was like, "Okay,
no shit." Now I'm interested going down that rabbit hole.
Please do.
But all right, what beers? We're all slugging on some beers here. What do we got? Meg, why don't you lead us off? What are you drinking?
Oh my gosh, guys, thank you. I actually didn't really have a big stock, but I did have one of the other beers I brought back from Leipzig, and it was the second of the Gozas that I brought home. And so this one was the gas house, so I was able to bring home 2 like of the original breweries that did goza and stuff like that. I actually think the other one was called like Rudder House, if I remember correctly. And that one I felt like was a little bit closer to gozas that you might try here, where it's like really, you get a really nice wheat note, and it has a nice pleasant tartness, like kind of sweaty a little bit. This one, like the acidity kind of feels a little higher. It's a little cleaner. Less of that like wheat character coming through, just like through the malt character there.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's pleasant. It's nice little hazy.
Nice boy. Nice boy. Steve, what do you got? What are you drinking over there? I saw you sipping on, was it Ellicottville? Did I catch that?
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, you got that right. Just quickly before I get to it, Meg is right. Ace of Base did have a Nazi background.
What?
The founder of the band, Ulf Ekberg, was originally in a Nazi punk band that was called Commit Suicide. So basically, he went from doing Screwdriver to fucking like pop.
Okay. All right. Well, so that really put a damper on my Thursday.
Yeah, so Meg wasn't just spouting shit. I like looked it up real quick, and it's the first thing that comes up. It's an article by Vice, and I was like, oh. Yeah. And then there's a picture of him giving the Heil Hitler. It's like, oh, okay, well, how about that?
Man, all of our childhoods were ruined the moment we found out.
I'm going to take that off my summer playlist, off my poolside playlist right after, Cruel Summer and right between Bananarama and whatever else.
It does make you think differently about the whole I saw the sign.
Yeah, it sure does, because the sign might have been a swastika.
Yeah,
the sign was verboten.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, hey, fuck Ace of Base, I guess.
You seem really, really heartbroken over this.
I'm all right. I mean, listen, if I never heard anything Ace of Base ever, if they died tomorrow, I wouldn't affect my breakfast.
Right.
But, all right.
Got it.
But yeah, so the beer, you're right. You called it right. It's Ellicottville, and it's their blackberry Kolsch. Yeah. It's pretty decent.
Jinx, give me a Coke, Steve or Brian.
What?
We both said at the same time.
You both made yummy sounds at the same time.
So now you owe me a Coke. Thanks.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate Ellicottville Brewing Company. When I worked at Southern Tier, that was like in the phase where Ellicottville wasn't big enough to be doing their production work. So Southern Tier was doing a lot of it. And so I was able to drink a bunch of it. And I think the beers were always really fucking solid. And even when they started brewing them their own, it's whenever I go home is what I'm saying, that I will always try to find some.
Yeah. I think they are one of the few other breweries, and I hope I'm not confusing them with somebody else, but they're one of the few other breweries that I have seen do a full-on lager variety pack, which we just launched one last month at Sly Fox, and I was like, "Ooh, sick!" Although I have not picked it up yet. I think they do have like an all lager variety pack. I hope I'm not confusing them with somebody else, but I think they might. I don't know.
That doesn't sound right to me, but
I might be. It's very possible that I'm confusing them with somebody else. But I.
Oh no, you're right.
Do they?
No, you're totally right. They did one. But they're not like straight German type lagers.
No, I see. They got the Czech Pils. Maibach. Actually, that's remarkably close to ours, because ours has a Czech 10-degree pale lager and a Maibach. But then they have a Schwarzbier and a Vienna, and ours is a Helles and a Pils.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at a different one. So they've done more than. Yeah. They also did one that was like a Bock, and then a pretzel lager, and then a Martin and something else. That
might have been a fall situation.
Yeah.
The one that I'm looking at here, the font looks like what I would describe as your ex's worst tattoo. That's what I describe the font.
We all have a visual in our head now.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. But the beer's probably good. I am drinking, speaking of little loggy boys, I got this little handsome bugger here. Can you guys guess what beer it is just from looking at it?
It looks like it would be like, obviously in the vein of Vienna Lager, Marzen style, Oktoberfest.
Is it a Pilsner or a Kel?
It sure is. It's Pilsner Cal. Yeah, it's a little dark here. That color's a little misleading.
Yeah,
it's a little more.
It does look
it's
a
looking
lot
darker on the. It looks a lot darker on the camera than it actually is.
Well.
Yeah, drinking a little.
We
Pilsner
probably could have
Cal.
all guessed that without even looking at the
That's
beer.
what I'm
So
saying.
that's my bad.
Yeah, there's a
I was
reason.
turned off by the color.
No, I always drink. I drink beer a whole lot, but I specifically had myself a little 12-pack on hand because I did a little Instagram live thing with a couple of friends who are advanced cicerones that do like a weekly Instagram live where they talk about like classic versions of certain styles, and they were talking about Czech 12 degree Czech premium pale lager and Pilsner Cal specifically, and got on there and talked about them a little bit. So I was been slamming a couple of them some bitches, and man, it's just so good. It's just such a fucking good beer. Like it is the beer I've drank more of in my life than any other beer for sure, and will probably continue to be the case. I'm spoiled, with Sly Fox having all kind of yummy loggy beers around, but I just have a hard time getting away from a Pilsner, from a good old Pilsner Cal.
I'm just waiting for you to one day just like say, hey guys, I got a new tattoo. Guess what it is?
Mm-hmm.
And then we aren't even a question. I'm going to be like, it's a Pilsner or Quell tattoo.
It's Joseph Grohl's big fat head.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I just, man, it's just good.
Giving
It's just
you
got
a
so
high
much body.
five.
Yeah.
Like giving your nipple a high five.
Pinching my nipple and flicking
Oh my
it.
God. Yes.
Yeah.
I would guess full back, shoulder to shoulder, skyline of the city of Pilsen. So
yeah, that iconic skyline of Pilsen. It's got that couple buildings that are upwards of 6 stories tall.
I know, so huge, as most European architecture is.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm excited. Let's get into it. We have some movies to pick. This is a monumentous occasion because for those of you who are new to the podcast, or for those of you who just are just getting caught up, Meg is departing the podcast. She's got brewery things to do. She's busy. She's got some stuff going on. We hope to convince her to come back and do some occasional guest spots and things like that. But for the time being, she gave us double middle fingers. She stunned me, and then I took the brunt of it, and then Steve got away, but then I got stunned, and then I came up and I was all kind of wobbly and stuff like that. And she stunned me again, fucking Shane McMahon style. And she said, "Fuck you guys, I'm out."
On the last episode, I am for sure going to shotgun a beer, Yeah.
Shotgun a beer, throw a couple stunners, throw a couple middle fingers up. But we did talk her into sticking around for one more Showdown episode, which will be June, and which will be coincidentally our 2-year anniversary of doing this old nutty old podcast. So Showdown topic for June, where we're each going to pick a movie, and then we're going to talk about them, then we're going to yell at each other, and we're going to punch each other, kick each other, wrap barbed wire around baseball bats, smack each other in the head, ultimately vote and decide who takes home that motherfucking championship belt. This is a real zero-sum game for your boy over here, because Meg, if she wins, she fucking retires champ, basically, which is not what we want to see. And if Steve wins, he gets the first ever three-peat in the history of the podcast. And I honestly hated that, and I hate it all much. It sounded like Meatwad, like happy birthday, happy birthday. And then that's going to end up just with a punishment episode that is going to fall entirely on my shoulders, which I hate the idea of. So I've been putting a lot of thought into this, and I'm really second guessing myself. I'm getting in my head about what I'm going to pick for Redneck Shenanigans. But because Steve is the reigning champ, he does get to choose the order in which we pick our movies. So I will acquiesce.
So if I win, I do hope Meg sticks around for maybe one more, just because it will be a really special punishment episode. It'll be a really special one.
Wait, so
he talked about this in the last episode. It's honestly, it's very, very disconcerting.
Yeah,
the way he's been talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the look on his face, and the
but he's really calm about
in his
it.
eyes.
He's just
he's
so calm.
but he's got this shit-eating grin on his face,
mm-hmm.
and it makes me very concerned.
Nobody ever sees the video of how I betray the words I'm saying.
No,
and that's what's upsetting for.
He says this in this very like even keeled tone, but if you look, he's just got this like Cheshire cat grin on his face.
He's actually stroking his fucking beard.
And he's also
just
stroking his beard. It's so fucked up.
Mm.
So that's what I'm worried about. But again, it is up to him to pick who goes next. But he has promised if he wins a weird, a
special
weird punishment.
A special.
Yeah, special makes me even feel worse.
I don't think anything that you do is special for us. You know what I mean? Like it's never it's not like you're giving us like a Christmas present. You know, it's not that sort of special or even an anniversary gift, Steve. You know,
you don't know. You don't know. It could be.
Yeah.
I just don't trust you.
You cannot trust me, but I'm saying it'll be
like
very special.
Hepatitis is special. In the sense that it requires special treatment and like and like the majority of people don't have
on
it.
Those lines.
Yeah.
But then so is ice cream cake. Ice cream cake is also special.
Yeah, that's what
like
I'm
you
saying.
Don't get it all, you don't get it all the time.
Hepatitis could be ice cream
I
cake.
vomited after eating ice cream cake one time, so there was a long time where it wasn't special for me.
Well, okay, so sometimes ice cream cake isn't for everybody.
Ice cream cake.
Ice cream cake.
Yum yum ice cream cake. All right, Steve, who's picking first for Christ's sake?
So, I mean, again, I do hope Meg sticks around for one more if I do win. If not, she can just drop a bomb if she wins and fucking peace out or, whatever. But with that in mind, because Meg is leaving, I'm going to be nice because I can't promise she'll win. But I will be nice and give her the opportunity of having the best shot and let her go first.
You know, that's a tough one because I have like 3 and it was going to be based off of what you guys ended up choosing.
Does that mean you want to go last?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if you guys would choose the one.
Okay.
I mean, I have 3 and they're all like different.
Sure.
You know? Actually, I technically have 4. Like, and if you guys choose like ones that I'm like, I have no chance, then I'm dropping a bomb.
Okay.
It's just unhinged.
It's just unhinged.
All right. Well, then I'll let you go last then, Meg, if that's what you want. If that's what you want. I thought I was being nice by letting you go first.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Because I'm like in between a few. Then,
it's the one gift I can give you because I can't promise you a championship because I do want that 3-peat.
If I felt like more confident or not confident, but like was like, yes, this is the one I want. This is the best.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing in this category that's like a huge standout anyway. So, all right. With that in mind, then I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just going to take 2000 Maniacs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm writing it down here. All right, a little surprising. I would have expected you to go for more of like a modern slasher type of thing. Just because that's more your bag.
Yeah, this is more like we had earlier in the year, like Herschel Gordon Lewis come up as as a category, but it didn't get voted on, and like we've also just not done any of his films. So
true.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And this is a fucking just weird. This is a movie that's like when back in, I'm going to assume in the early 60s when Tubi was first founded. People don't know that. Tubi is at least 50 years old. I'm making that.
Brian didn't hear the news.
What?
Oh, this one will actually, this one actually will hurt you.
Oh,
what happened? Don't tell me.
Tubi, well, I mean, they were bought back in 2020.
Yeah.
And then just the way they structured the company, nobody knew this until recently, but Tubi is a Fox subsidiary.
Oh no.
And they use Tubi ad revenue to prop up Fox News because Fox News has been hemorrhaging money.
This honestly all makes sense though of how sucked in Brian got. That's the same sort of corporate
Brian
media
loves Ace of Base. Brian loves Tubi.
Why would you say I'm a Trump person?
No, I meant it's like the same sort of tactics is what I'm just now joking about.
They weasel me in.
They did. They sucked you in.
God damn it.
They became your Lord and Savior.
God damn it. You know what? I'm going to go full cognitive dissonance, like reject it and say that it's a false flag. It's a false flag. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a psyop.
Yes, advertisers pay money into Tubi, but if you never buy any of the products advertised to you and you never pay for a subscription to Tubi,
that's true.
You personally don't have to feel the need that you're giving to them.
Yeah, but the more views means the more ad revenue.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely been pushing them real hard. I feel like
this is troublesome. This is troublesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because I know for a long time we've done the
going into a holiday weekend. Just going into a holiday weekend, just rip my heart out like that. That's all right.
Tina Turner's dead. Tubi's owned by fucking Nazis.
I have been I'll be honest with you. I've actually not been watching as much Tubi lately. I've been watching. I've been back on the Shudder bandwagon. I've been watching a lot of good shit on Shudder. I continue to love that app. And then I've actually been watching Screambox quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Which I mean is, it's a fucking Amazon Prime thing. I think it's probably but they've got some really cool, it's the thing I love about Shudder is how well curated it is. And they pull up shit that you don't see otherwise. And they cater to more hardcore horror nerds and Screambox kind of does the same thing. So anyway, we're not talking about, let's put all this nastiness behind us, guys. Steve's going to do 2000 Maniacs, which is a bit of a dark horse pick. I like that. I am, damn it.
Undeniably redneck and undeniably shenanigans. So
there are shenanigans.
It starts with shenanigans. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right. So I am going to go because although I really want to pick a weird one here, I actually think it fits better into some other categories. So I'm going to wait on it. I am going to pick, I'm going to pick Tourist Trap.
Okay.
I love Tourist Trap. I love the griminess of it. I love the performances. And it has two of the most just unsettling scenes in horror history for me. So I'm very excited to talk about Tourist Trap. And I don't think I'm going to get a better opportunity to talk about Tourist Trap. But the other one on my list, I definitely am going to get a better opportunity to talk about at some point. So I'm going Tourist Trap.
Okie dokie.
Meg, what's your
all right.
where does that leave you?
Did we not take any of your choices?
No, and I'm knocking off a couple as we're talking where I'm like, I think this is not, I think this one's good. This was a recommendation of someone else who was suggested, and I think it could be a solid choice here. I don't think it falls into the silliness, but we kind of left it open as backwoods, country hillbilly type thing. So I'm gonna go with 2005 Wolf Creek.
Okay. Wolf Creek. All right. That's a fun one. I'm excited to see that one again.
Australian rednecks.
2005, right?
Yeah.
2005. Okay. Interesting.
But do you want to hear what my other bomb would have been? But then I
yes. What would your bomb been? How would you have nuked the show to leave it?
It would have been so ridiculous because it looks really unhinges. Blood Games.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen Blood Games.
It's 91, but I was just the rape scenes. I was I don't know if I want to go after that on my last episode, but it just that would have
been on brand, especially if it was incestuous.
No, it's not.
No, I don't know this movie. What's it called? Blood Games?
Yeah. I skimmed it in my research.
Yeah, it's hillbillies versus the softball team revenge film.
Fuck, I'm on.
I feel like you would like it. You know what I mean?
You had me at hillbillies versus softball team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm imagining Meatballs, but with they're fighting hillbillies in the woods.
It's not that. It's much more Last House on the Left, but with more women.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
Yeah, what I skimmed was pretty unpleasant. And so it was my second or third choice. I was I don't know if that's.
Well, I'll tell you, in the spirit of full disclosure here, what our other picks were. My original one I was going to pick, which I thought was going to be this out of left field pick, but I know that Steve would go after it because it's not. When we think redneck, you think American, Southern rednecks. I was going to go The Wicker Man.
Yeah, that popped up on a list.
Go British rednecks in a way, but they're not rednecks,
But I saw that one as options that came up on lists and stuff, and I was I think it's a smart on your behalf. Like, I think it'll fit better in like another category.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, it's like one of the quintessential folk horror movies.
Yeah.
Like obviously British horror. I'm sure we'll do at some point. So I was like, we'll get an opportunity to talk about the Wicker Man.
Because I feel like cult came up as a topic, but I don't remember if we covered it. But
yeah,
like, you know,
yeah, cult's a topic, and like that's why I had like Race with the Devil on as a possible one, but like that's more culty. And then another one I had that kind of falls in line with the Wicker Man and Wolf Creek because it's not American. There's a film called Girls with Balls, and it's actually very similar to Blood Games, but it's less rape. It's like a volleyball. It's a French volleyball team that gets stranded out in the French woods, and they're like surrounded by rednecks. But I disqualified that one because I remembered they rip a dog in half, and Meg would not vote for that. They do it in a funny way, but it's still ripping a dog in half. So
you would have definitely lost my vote. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because British, like, you know, there's some backwoods ass, you know, British shit going on, but it's not, doesn't feel redneck. Whereas like Australia, they got some I swear they're like some, you know, cause the Australian brand of redneck feels like it could easily be swapped out with like an American version of redneck. Like they feel like, even though it's on the opposite side of the earth, like I do feel like there is for whatever reason more tie there than there are with like, you know, a British equivalent of a redneck.
I mean, I think it's literally because in the name, like redneck is because people are getting burned on the back of their neck. And I think it's all associated with the heat. The heat cooks people's brains in a certain way.
You're probably right.
I also think there's association in my brain of like the accent is like just close enough to like a British accent, but also at times completely like you can't even fucking understand it, which is kind of how we feel about people in the South. Hey, yeah, we love people in the South.
They just got that old redneck mush mouth type situation.
Mush mouth.
If any of the listeners want a really good example of Australian rednecks that could easily be American rednecks, the movie Body Melt.
Yep, that's what I was just about to say. Body Melt. I actually thought about that one, but the movie is really fun, but then it drags. No. And then like a lot of it is more of a suburban setting. But Body Melt is really fun. It's really dumb and really fun. But the whole redneck scene where they go out to like the auto, they're getting their car repaired out in the middle of the fucking nowhere, and there's like the fucking inbred family out there and all that stuff. And doesn't he like throw something? Oh yeah, doesn't he like throw something, kill a kangaroo or something? There's a great scene in that movie. But anyway. All right. So just to recap, quite a diverse list here. We definitely have been skewing towards the like 80s and 90s traditionally. But in this instance, Steve's going the whole way back to 1964 with 2000 Maniacs. I'm at the tail end of the 70s with Tourist Trap. And then Meg bringing up those mid 2000s vibes with Wolf Creek. So that should be a lot of fun. That'll be our Showdown episode. If you want to watch those movies or at least familiarize yourself with them before next week's episode, there they are. And tune in when we show up next week and just, you know, beat each other's brains in talking about these three movies. So let's get into our main topic here for this here minisode. You know, a little different, a little bit of a departure from what we normally do. We're not going to go through an individual movie itself and discuss it. We're going to talk about the 2022 or 2023, but for the year, you know, ending, I guess nowish. I don't know when that actually ends. Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, which are streaming currently on Shudder. Fangoria, I guess there's no real reason to explain what Fangoria is. It's been around for a long time and is a anybody who's in the horror, you know, is into horror or has been for any amount of time. Fangoria, you know, is a publication that is synonymous with horror, and they have a kind of a fun little a little bit of a cheeky take on you know, your traditional entertainment award shows. but specifically around horror movies. And they do some of the same categories, things like, best supporting performance, best performance, best short films, wide releases. But then they do other things like, best kill and in this sense is best Amityville and things like that. So they did like a little cold open where there was like this kind of melty pumpkin skull face serial killer that's prowling the scene of the show and stuff, or the set of the actual award show taping. And I don't know, I could probably would have done without it. It was fine. Some of the stuff later on was more entertaining, but the whole thing was obviously shot on tape. There was no studio audience or anything like that. But the main I guess hosts that they kept coming back to a little more frequently was David Dastmalchian. I always mess up his name, who is showing up just everything horror related nowadays. You feel like he is on, but he's so entertaining and
so creepy.
He's funny. He's creepy. I'm pretty sure I'm in love with him.
Somebody check his Chinese zodiac, because one, he's obviously got the Fango Awards. He's on the last voyage of the Demeter. He's in the Boogeyman, like Meg just said, and then he's also in the film the Last Night with the Devil or whatever, or Late Night with the Devil later this year. They're all coming out this year.
He's in a bunch of shit right now. He was in Dune.
Yeah, Boston Strangler, which does that little series, which was pretty solid. He was in that too.
Yeah.
And then he was also in Ant-Man at the beginning of the year. So he's in everything.
Yeah, dude's in everything right now. He's killing it. He's super funny. And like I said, just kind of a dang creepy hunk too.
Let's go back to how hot he is.
He's just an attractive man. He's just a creepy, attractive man.
He's a Crispin Glover for a new age, Meg.
Don't be rude.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Said. I love that. A little bit more deliberate, perhaps, in what he does. Maybe Crispin Glover was more so than we give him credit for. But yeah, just a dang old heartthrob for horror nerds. And then we have Peaches Christ, who was just
what a great name.
Yeah, so drag performer who was just on the Last Drive-In recently as well, which was really fun. And so they do a fun job. And also David Dastmalchian and was on, and I don't remember if Peaches Christ was as well, but a lot of the same people showed up. Felissa Rose and a lot of the same people showed up on that Boulay Brothers Halfway to Halloween special. Which if you haven't watched, if you care even a little bit about this and you like the little sketches and stuff like that, go watch that, because it's infinitely more entertaining. This is more of like an industry thing. And the one thing I kind of was interesting about the Chainsaw Awards is like the tone was so up and down, but I get it. That's what it is with these types of award shows, because some of the people took it like really seriously and gave these super long, heartfelt, like acceptance speeches. And then you had other people that were just being fun and silly and entertaining. And it was just like, I definitely found myself fast forwarding through a couple of the acceptance speeches where it's like, come on, I think it's jumping ahead 30 seconds.
Different, like, kind of emotion, I think, that goes behind whether or not you have a live audience or not. Like, you're not responding to the energy there versus like, I'm just looking at a cast and crew who's telling me your turn, go on.
Well, and that's
what the camera.
That's what they did on the Boulay Brothers Halloween special. Is they pretended it was in front of a live studio audience, but it obviously wasn't. And that was part of the shtick. It was like they played to that awkwardness and they like acted like there was, but everyone knew there wasn't, and it was very tongue in cheek. This was like at times extremely earnest. And then at times very silly. Yeah. So it was like, it just was a weird feel overall. But I think like most award shows kind of are like that.
Yeah. I get the want to be earnest when you're getting awards like this. Because, horror is obviously a very, niche category, and you're not going to get awards like this from the Oscars. You're not going to get Emmys or Golden Globes or anything. If you're making like fucking genre films, you can get these, and you can get Saturn Awards for sci-fi, and that's about the top, the top of the industry for genre films. So like I get when people,
unless you're Jordan Peele or
right,
a couple other people, I guess.
So I get the the one to be earnest, but at the same time, the whole thing was up and down. I had my two notes about the energy were, one, all of the like scream queens, like Barbara Crampton, Felissa Rose, Adrienne King, all of them, for some reason they just understood whatever the assignment was, because they all brought energy to their presentation. Like there are some people that are just like really flat when they're presenting. I don't care if the award acceptance is earnest, but like they should try to make this as much. And I like this award show because it kind of reminded me of the old school MTV movie awards that we grew up with.
Me too.
Like it was silly. They had skits.
They'd bring fucking Jason out and do wild shit like that. Yeah,
it was silly. It had skits, and like that's what it should be. Like it should just be silliness, and then like awarding people who otherwise wouldn't get awards. And that's what it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like I do love when there's people who win that just are kind of like just huge genre fans that are just like, this is fucking awesome, because the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards have been around since like the early 90s. So this isn't like a new thing, So like the people who are just like lifelong genre fans that were nominated or won or whatever, that were just like, this is so cool. This was something that I've been reading about since I was a kid, whatever. And just kind of paid tribute to that. That was fun. But then there was like, especially, I think it was some of the younger winners, like some of the couple of kids from like the Black Phone that won were just like really earnest and like, I don't know, kind of a little bit more. I mean, I feel like younger kids nowadays, like they're so just media trained by birth, you know what I mean? That they just like feel like they have to be super earnest about stuff. I don't know. But I went down through some of the categories and ones that I thought were cool and which ones, the flubs and snubs, guys. You know how we do it in the award show. So the first one I wrote down was supporting performance. And I did like that they didn't pick Kristen Stewart or Jenna Ortega for that one, because you would have thought those would be the like the big, they were the big star picks kind of thing. Not, but then my whole thing was like, and I think they gave it to the young woman who is in
Madeline McGraw. Yeah, I forgot to write her name down. Just from the Black Phone, which she was great. But then it was I hate to be cynical about it, but this is supposed to be it's a fan vote thing, right? And it's like she was good in that movie, and that movie obviously did well, but I was surprised. Like I found it hard to believe that she was there and presenting and also won over Kristen Stewart and Jenna Ortega. I don't know. Maybe that's cynical of me.
I think that's a little cynical. I think it's more that like once it was clear she was running away with the votes, they did their best to get her on the show.
It's very possible
because they knew they weren't going to get Jenna Ortega on the show. They knew they weren't going to get Kristen Stewart on the show. So
or
like,
even just like if the energy of just kind of it sparked this thought when you were talking about it, and it's how I felt throughout it, because this was a fan vote, that some of the categories were interesting, and like this one where some of them ran away with it. Like we'll talk about best director. It's like a very obvious one versus something like, Black Phone won quite a few, like Prey won quite a bit. I was like, it was an interesting vibe to see where people's heads were, like with some of these films where other ones were like, oh, the one Mia Gothson, of course she's going to fucking win.
Yeah, that's why the first one made me think that, is because it did feel a little bit like a popularity contest in some of the categories. I mean, even just the best short, not best short, but the best first feature, I think, was the category.
Yeah.
And the Watcher one, which was the girl from It Follows, starred in it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm trying to think of her name.
I actually didn't see that movie. So.
I didn't watch Watcher.
I saw Watcher.
I didn't see. Started it, and then I got real bored with it. So
it was fine, but it was a little boring, and it was a little predictable. But it was good. Don't get me wrong. Like production value was through the roof. It was a good movie, but like I was
if you've
honestly
seen Girl on a Train, or there's another movie that
Rear
came out in
Window.
the last couple of years.
It's a
very Rear Window.
It's a rip of Rear Window. Not that it's a bad film, but it's a Rear Window when Deadstream and the Sadness
exactly
are like incredibly. I mean, much more original than The Watcher.
Yeah.
And I think,
I basically wrote like, this is such a silly win because like, this is clearly because of the actor that was involved with it. I'm just like, and because that was the category, I was just kind of like, wow, there's actually some heavy hitters of movies that we all collectively really fucking loved. And and
I was also, selfishly rooting for Rob Jabaz, who was a guest on the show, who directed The Sadness. It was so cool. And it's just, we talked to him for like 2 hours. He was fantastic, super interesting guy. And I loved that movie. So I was definitely rooting for that. But I also really loved Deadstream. I thought that was a super unique.
It was so fun.
It felt so different. Did we do a whole episode on that, or did we just talk about Deadstream?
We just talked about it because we talked about VHS 99. And the Winters is the husband and wife team directed both, a short in that and Deadstream.
Yeah, that was such a fun movie. And they were just both so much more, unique films to me than The Watcher. But anyway, so getting back to I actually did not see any, or I didn't write down what all the nominees were, but for Best Short. Did you guys see any of those? I
did.
Didn't. Yeah. Which ones did you watch?
So like I was really interested about the shorts because I hadn't seen any of them. And then I literally like earlier this morning, I watched all of them except for one. And just because I was like, well, why would Close Your Eyes win? It was why I was curious. Because pretty much, I think every other film that is talked about tonight is like something we've seen, Yeah. So and I was also curious, is like, does Fangoria do anything to get these shorts in the people's hands? Because most of the time, almost all short films are available on YouTube. So, and that's where I watched all of them. The only one I didn't watch was Oh Glory. And I think it's because like it's a UK release and they put it up on Vimeo, but it was password protected. So I didn't watch that one, but Close Your Eyes as a winner is probably got to me more post show as an egregious winner than The Watcher. Yeah. So Close Your Eyes is basically, it's a sub 5-minute film and all it does is service like a jump scare. Now it's really well made, it's well shot, but it's just not, it does not feel like a complete film. Whereas Meat Friend, it's kind of funny. And
that's the one that I wrote down. Of course, I was like, "Oh, Meat Friend, that looks wild. I gotta watch that."
So I watched that one. It's not that great, and it's okay that it didn't win. And I mean this in a very I mean this in the most complimentary way I can. But it's something that Brian could make on the weekend with his daughters, and an iPhone. But it's surprising that neither Blink or Guts won. Blink is a 10-minute film that was released by Sony. So it is a really well put together film. And it honestly feels like kind of an exploratory film of like, can this garner enough attention to get people to want to invest in a bigger film?
It was that type of short.
But
it was like a test. It was like a spec short.
Right. But it's so well made and it's so good. And just like, just a quick breakdown of how it runs is it starts with a woman in a hospital bed and a nurse is checking on her and like she's regaining consciousness. And then it's revealed that she can't speak and she can't move. So she's been like kind of paralyzed. And the nurse starts asking her questions and she's doing the blink one for no, blink 2 for yes. And just the way the questioning is written, it builds a lot of tension. So it's like, did you jump out the window? And she blinked and she's like, no, I didn't jump. And she's doing it all through blinks. So it's like a pushing in for close up on the eyes. And it's like, oh, were you pushed? Yes. Was there somebody else in your apartment with you? Yes. Was it a man?
Mhm.
Yes. Was it a woman? Or was it a man? No. Was it a woman? No. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Mm,
So,
that's
and then
bad.
I
Good
won't
bet.
give the rest of it away, but it's like, yeah,
I'm gonna
it's like,
watch it.
it's a real good tension builder. So
Ooh.
it's a good film.
Nice.
But the one that should have won in my mind was Guts.
Yeah.
And Guts, I'm so super surprised this one didn't win because it basically feels like a short film that the people from Scare Package made after they were doing or after they did Scare Package or somewhere in between, because it has the one guy Kirk as a star in it. Kirk is like, he's the guy that gets melted in one of
Yeah.
or he's also in Scare Package 2, and I think he also gets melted, but yeah. So there's Kirk, and then the guy who plays Rad Chad is also in this, and he's like a bully. And Guts is all about this guy who goes around his office and his guts are just hanging out. Like, it's just so like all his shirts,
That's
he
funny.
cuts holes into them. It's a comedy, but like,
That's
yeah,
good.
and it's just, I was surprised that one didn't win because it seemed to have the most recognition among the horror crowd, and it's also just really funny, and there's a lot of fun effects in it. So
Mhm.
That does sound really fun.
so yeah, definitely go check out all the shorts, but you'll also get confused as to why like Close Your Eyes won and not anything else.
What was it was the Steve Kaczynski film, the Robo or like
BioCop.
BioCop. That's like when you talk about Guts, it's kind of reminded me.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah. I did watch the trailer for Oh Glory, and it seemed kind of cool. It seemed very inspired by like 70s film and Ben Wheatley films, but like I didn't see the whole thing, so I can't make a judgment.
I'll have to check some of those out. Yeah, that was the one thing, the shorts that I tend to neglect for whatever reason. And like one year I did get into this like whole of like watching a whole bunch of them. And actually it was the one year we went to the drive-in jamboree and they had some cool ones there that were shorts, and then that got me down a rabbit hole. But the last couple of years I really haven't. But jumping into best cinematography, not necessarily a surprise here. The guy from Nope won. I really thought, it was X, Nope. Wounded Fawn got nominated for a lot and didn't win anything. At least that was on the show, which was a little bit, it was a little bit of a dark horse, when it was compared, when it was up against X and Nope and those types of movies. Yeah. Obviously Nope, the cinematography was great, but it did feel like it was on a little different, level of funding than some of the other movies.
Oh, for sure. The one thing I'll give for like, and I mean, like if a Wounded Fawn won, I would have been fine with it. If Nope wins, I'm fine with that too, because it's two different things that they're doing. A Wounded Fawn, obviously the cinematography is very interesting because they're shooting on 16 millimeter, so you have to light for film, and that's not necessarily a skill everybody has nowadays. Nope is super interesting because the cinematography tricks they have to do, and one of them is like how much they shot day for night.
Yeah.
And like that, I think that's just a really impressive thing that they did, is just pulling off all the day for night and you don't know it in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And like to get that feel of that like moonlit wide open sky and still be able to see what the fuck is happening and not feel like it's just daytime is an impressive thing to pull off. Well, what the heck was I watching recently that was it was one of the movies that was on. It was The Mutilator. The Mutilator Day Some Day for a Night thing, and it's awful. Yeah. You just feel like it's just wait, or is it 4 p.m. like all of a sudden?
Yeah, somebody just spilled blue ink on the negative.
Yeah. But I did kind of get, and I didn't know who this guy was necessarily, but the guy who did win for Nope looked like he was going as a Hollywood cinematographer for Halloween. Like he had this like the long greasy hair, the big scarf, this like vaguely, European accent. It just was like it was like he went to Spirit Halloween and picked out the thing that said, award-winning cinematographer. But obviously well deserved. I was having some beers last night,
Sure.
I was watching this and stuff, and I once again did that thing I always do, which is confuse Tiffany Shepis with Lauren Holden. And I was like, they just talked about all the movies she's in and they didn't even mention The Mist. And then I just realized that I always confuse those two human beings. But I think she did Creature Effects. Yeah, I mean, secretly I was rooting for VHS 99 because I just love that movie, but Prey won. And I'll be honest with you, I watched I fell asleep during Prey, and I don't know that's the movie's fault. I was watching it, it was probably 1 a.m. or something that I had it on, but I haven't felt compelled to go back and finish it. And like, that's shame on me, but I don't know. I didn't love it. What I saw of it, I didn't love it. And that's unfair because I didn't finish the movie. I should go back and just start it over and watch it from beginning to end.
No, just watch the last like 20 minutes, half hour. Yeah. That's where I for a majority of that film, I was like, man, this is really corny. Like, I don't really love what they're doing with the story. But then once the action starts, you're just like, okay, this is pretty good. But
yeah.
Wait, did you get to the bear fight?
I watched it all the way through. So
well, I was asking Brian if he got to the bear fight. Because you told him to go all the way to the end. But I'm saying don't skip the bear fight.
Yeah, I don't know if I got to the bear fight. It does not sound familiar. So, I mean, I do kind of vaguely remember a bear. Again, it was like when it came out. I just need to start over. It was like the second movie of the night. And I was like, oh, I forgot this was like streaming now, whatever. And I put it on. And I had trouble getting into it. And then I just kind of, like I said, I think I fell asleep, but I abandoned it and didn't come back to it. And like I said, and then I just... Like, I've heard a lot of really great things about it, and then it was just cleaning up in, I don't know. Yeah. I should probably revisit it, but for whatever reason, something about it's just not, not that attractive to me. I don't know.
It's fine, and it's not going to surprise you in any way. It's just a fine thing to go, that was a fun little Predator film that looked a little different from the other Predator films. I like it. It's not, it's not amazing. And to the end of, like, best creature effects, like, yeah, they're the best, but also they have the most money. So
yeah, exactly. And it's tough to put these things on the same level as one another.
And just the whole idea of popularity contest in general it's based on like, what did the audience see?
Yeah.
Like so the other creature effect nominees are Hatching and Nope and Jurassic World. I didn't see Hatching. Did anybody else?
No, I've seen clips from it. It does look pretty cool, but I've not seen it.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's something on my list to get to. And then we've seen all the other, we didn't see Jurassic World. I didn't give a shit about that.
Yeah,
but Nope is fine.
Paid money to rent that, and then halfway through, I was like, I don't honestly want to watch this.
I don't want this.
Yeah, I really didn't. I just wasn't enjoying it. I don't know.
I mean, because it's not different from any other Jurassic fucking Park movie. That's the thing, is like when you watch, like it can be a comfort to watch something that's the same as everything else that you've seen. Yeah, that's fine. But also, like, new is better. That's why VHS 99 and Nope are more interesting watches, because you've never seen anything like either of those films before.
Yeah. So VHS 99 was so much fun. Yeah, and then speaking of another category, Prey won was best costumes, and I was like, how does the Munsters not win? If there's one thing, I understand that movie was a little bit of a mess and was just kind of bonkers. I enjoyed it. Like, I'm not saying I was in love with it, but it was just enjoyable.
Well, the
costumes were so fun.
They were. That's where I'm like, for the amount of times Prey won in this whole award ceremony, it was like a topic of conversation. Like, it was a really relevant movie. It was like a very, I don't want to say PC, but like, it was hitting an audience. I think it knew who was, and in a way that's cool because it's trying to capture a younger, like, horror audience, which is great. But like, it was doing that. So I feel like it was just really relevant. So I'd be curious to see how that would even hold up. And I just don't know if it'd be a strong hold up for like the franchise overall versus something like even just talking about the costume category. I feel like, I don't know. The Munsters, it was just like a giggle fest for me. I watched that movie fucking when I'm sick, when I'm just like hungover on a Sunday morning. Like,
it's just fun, silly, and just like super gregarious, over the top costumes. And
I don't even like the film that much, but like, I completely agree. It should have won costume design because This one is an interesting case of they didn't have the most money, but with the costumes and the set design, they did the most with it.
No, they made the whole thing feel like you were in a fucking cartoon, and it was just fun, you know?
Steve, I don't think we talked about it. I am really curious. We don't have to go into too detail. Do you have like a couple sentence reason you didn't love the monsters?
Oh, I don't know. The references are like even older than things I get. Like, and I'm old and I have fucking, a pretty decent knowledge of things.
You
it's
watch
just like
Columbo daily almost.
Fuck yeah, Columbo rules. And then like, it just didn't make me laugh that much, and just and I didn't love the performance that they did for Herman. Like, there's other things I did like. I did kind of like Sherry Moon Zombie in this, like the way she plays it. She plays it pretty funny.
They tried to stick it close to the. It was weird because the aesthetic was very different than TV show, but they tried to mimic the TV show performances a lot.
Yeah,
which was interesting. The whole thing was just like. It was kind of a big mess.
Yeah.
But in a fun way, like in a charming way.
Yeah, it was charming. It just wasn't fun enough for me. That's all.
I can get it. I can deal with it. It felt long. I do remember when I watched it, it felt long. But anyway, no surprise. The next one I wrote down was the best score, went to John and Cody Carpenter for Halloween Ends, which is just that soundtrack fucking rules. It's so good. I've listened to it front to back a couple of times. And just like, I've just been on I always listen to John Carpenter music, but I've actually been on a tear even just lately, long drives to Philadelphia, listening to John Carpenter. But the reason I brought this up was, their like little acceptance speech, which I do appreciate that they sent a little video in. They could have been like other people and just were like, oh, they're not here. Like Mia Goth was just like, oh, she's not here.
It's like, next. No shit.
Yeah.
Which also, I feel like I would like them to care a little bit more.
Yeah, I get it. Whatever.
Well, I think the case with like Mia Goth, she was probably still in the middle of filming Maxine.
Probably. So, yeah, you don't know. I'm not trying to point any fingers at anybody. I do appreciate that John and Cody Carpenter did send in a video, but it was like 4 seconds. It was like, thanks. Which was even better than not sending something, because it was just like, all right, fuck, whatever. And that's John Carpenter. Like, that's what
Fangoria bought that video off Cameo.
Yeah, they had to pay him $250 to do that. Like, I just love that John Carpenter is such like a just a grouchy old man. And just kind of, notoriously a little bit of a not a curmudgeon. What's the word I was looking?
I think curmudgeon's pretty correct.
Curmudgeon, maybe, yeah.
He's kind of no frills, doesn't really care for shit. Like, he's only slightly more approachable than Alan Moore.
Yeah,
and basically anything that cuts into his gaming time is a fucking hassle.
Yeah. He did. But here's the best part about John Carpenter. He doesn't have time for shit. He doesn't have patience for shit, but he loves it, all this stuff so much that he still does it and puts up with all the, he's had fucking people for 50 years up his ass. You know what I mean? In the genre community, and he still plays fucking Halloween shows, plays music on Halloween night. Like, he still loves this shit so much. So like, no matter how crotchety and curmudgeon he is, you can still tell he loves it. And that's why and also he's the fucking greatest horror director of all time. In my humble opinion. So I have a soft spot for him, but I did love the, hey, thanks. Fuck off.
We did it.
Basically. Yeah. It was pretty solid.
It was almost like, yeah, of course we won best score. I'm fucking John Carpenter. But
I will say though, and I'm not again, this is one of those ones where it could have gone either way for me. I'm not upset one way or the other, because obviously John Carpenter is one of the best, score writers, I would say.
Yeah. Even if it's not even just best, he's just most influential for sure.
Yeah. But I do have a spot for Pearl, because again, it's another one of those cases of,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's another one of those cases where they're writing music for the time, and the music that plays over the end credits is just so scored perfectly with like what Mia Goth's face is doing. It's just kind of pretty perfect. So like, I think personally I would have liked to see Pearl win, simply because, John Carpenter's won enough. He's fine. He doesn't need it. And it's Halloween again. He didn't. He just added some different doots and daws to the Halloween and added a guitar.
There's some other stuff in it. Yeah, you did add some guitars. But yeah, it's some doots and daws. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it, so I do need to. But yeah, I've heard nothing but obviously good things. I don't know why. It's just one of those ones where it's like, when you like miss something when it's super
popular that you're relevant, not jumping. Yeah,
and then like weeks pass, months pass, and you're like, I got it's standing out on your list of things to watch. So you just keep pushing it down the ladder because you're like, I had a long fucking day. Do I really want to invest in some like thing that everyone loves that I really need to pay attention to or something? But
you can catch up when Maxine comes out.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna watch it. But the next one was best limited release, which was stacked. But Barbara Crampton and Kelly Maroney of Chopping Mall fame, as they were together in Chopping Mall. They've both been in a lot of other things. Was interesting because I've talked about a lot of times. Love me some Barbara Crampton. You can tell weirdly, and I've had 2 instances of this where these people like aren't in the same room a lot, and you can tell that like maybe one of them's not a huge fan of the other one, and you're just completely reading into this, and this could be completely fake and just total speculation. But I get the idea that Barbara Crampton was like, get me the fuck away from her a little bit, which was like, I remember when we went to the drive-in jamboree out at the Mahoning drive-in the first time they did it a couple years ago, and they did Night of the Demons live with Joe Bob and Darcy and everything, and Linnea Quigley was there with her name's escaping me, but she played Angela, the one that the kind of gothier girl from Night of the Demons that does the whole dance thing or whatever. And she was just like kind of a maniac, and you can tell Linnea Quigley was just like, shut the fuck up. Like, and Linnea Quigley is hammy, you know what I mean? She's like, right. she's not afraid to like mix it up and like pander to the audience, but you could just tell she was like, Jesus Christ, get me away from this person. Yeah, best limited release, stacked category. I mean, Terrifier 2, which Ian's know how I feel about some Terrifier 2. Mad God, which I feel like it just has not got as... It is a feat. You know what I mean? It's a heavy thing. It's like an experience to watch, but it's going to go down in history as just one of the most impressive feats of filmmaking in the history of the genre.
It is fucked up. And I know we're talking limited release and like big surprise Terrifier 2 one. It is, for all the time they took, like Fangoria controls this. Yeah. And so they took the time to put together the special editor's eye award. Yeah. They can't give out a special award for Phil Tippett. Yeah, it's just like a fucking lifetime achievement award. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially if they see in the voting, Terrifier 2 is running away with this, because like Orphan First Kill wasn't going to win. Something in the Dirt is a fun movie, but I don't think enough. One I didn't see. Exactly, I don't think enough people saw it, and even then, I don't think it's better than Mad God. And like I think Mad God should have won, but like Terrifier 2 was everybody's fucking, except for mine, everybody's fucking... It was a sweetheart. Yeah, it was a sweetheart pick. The other one that was kind of a sleeper that I would have been like kind of pleasantly surprised if it won was Resurrection. I don't think I saw that one. It is a more of a psychological thriller than a horror movie. But the performances are fucking fantastic. I mean, the cast is... I mean, honestly... And I think the main, and I didn't look it up, but the actress who's the star of Resurrection got nominated for I think best lead performance as well. She's fucking
incredible in that
Oh
movie.
yeah, you guys talked about this movie before,
did,
and I didn't watch it. Yeah, haven't watched
it's one
it.
of those movies. It's like it's going to suffer from having a generic title.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It also shares its title with a fucking 1999 film starring Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
That is a ripoff of Seven. So
well, it's like almost. I think for Resurrection too, it's like people are gonna find it when they are into those actors, or if those other actors have like other releases, they're gonna be like, oh, what else have they been into lately? You're like, oh, you're gonna find Resurrection, but.
Well, and it's one of those. It's like when they marketed the movie. And I'm not saying everything has to be fucking crazy exploitation, fucking humanoids from the deep or whatever, but it's almost like they were trying to make people not see it. You know what I mean? But it has Rebecca Hall. I just looked at as the lead. She's fucking incredible in that movie. And then the kind of antagonist in it is Tim Roth. Which you would know him immediately. He's in a million things, and he's so fucking good in it too. I mean, he's from Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction. Like he's been in a Hateful Eight. He was the freaking one of the bad guys in the Hateful Eight. Good God, he's great. And Resurrection was, you knew it wasn't going to win, but it deserved a lot more because that movie was fantastic. But yeah, Terrifier 2 did ultimately win. I mean, it's just. That movie speaks so much to the target audience of like the Chainsaw Awards.
But also it just got so much attention, which is, I mean, rightfully so. I think we all, well, besides Steve, you didn't love it, but
Steve hates fun. He hates
we loved it though.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, that like fed into like, I feel like every award that they won, I was like fully on board for.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, we'll get to one here in a second. The one I wanted to bring up next was we were really excited to see, and this was a little bit of a spoiler because we saw it on social media when this went on to streaming. He posted about it, but our good friend Premium Steve won a freaking Fangoria Chainsaw Award,
so
and
exciting.
he honestly stole the show.
Yeah.
Did he not? So he stole the whole fucking show.
I just love that he stays in that sort of personality through and through. I think it just like, it's going to make him also stand out. Like that's what everyone's going to remember is like that moment.
Yeah. Obviously his acceptance speech was the funniest bit of the whole show.
Oh, by far. Yeah.
And like, I mean, I like some of the skits that they did, but like when you're on the stage with like Jonah Ray, who's also incredibly funny, and like you steal the spotlight from out underneath Jonah Ray.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you're really doing something special.
Yeah.
And like he totally did. And like they both Jonah presenting the award and Steve understood what was going on when you present the best Amityville fucking award.
That's the thing is, listen, as the kids say, he understood the assignment, right? So we're talking about former one time, hopefully eventually we'll have him on again, Steve Rudzinski, who was the director of Amityville Christmas Vacation. They did this kind of fun, again, tongue-in-cheek category where they basically, so they had Jonah Ray come up and basically say they were presenting for the best Amityville, which for those of you who are into like, schlocky, especially low-budget horror movies, and independent horror movies especially, Amityville has become its own subgenre where it's just, if you want to make something scary / haunted / demonic / possessed, and then just put something else around it, anything. Could be freaking sharks. It could be freaking, fucking next British baking show or whatever. If you put Amityville beside it, you can make it into a horror movie. And we actually had Steve on to talk about Amityville Christmas Vacation, which is just such a charming, fun movie, and he won for best Amityville, and then like you said, went up during the acceptance speech and did this great little bit where he like pushes his like Christmas narrative about it's the time of year where we all smile a little bit. He basically did the Scrooged. He did his Scrooged monologue. So it was just, I mean, like I said, I was so happy for him. He just absolutely stole the show and just came off as just so endearing. And I hope a lot of people get eyes on his movies as a result of that, which I still have my DVD of Shingles the movie that I have not I got to watch. Maybe I'll watch it tonight, but
yeah. Also, just a little news to go along with that. I believe Carousel 3 starts filming first week of June.
Yep. I saw they were doing that, which I'm excited to see too, because I love both the fucking Carousel movies too, actually. I should those are two that I will own on DVD as well. But yeah, go support our friend Steve. He's fantastic. He's such an inspirational, independent filmmaker, and he's super talented, funny guy. So, yeah, that was super cool to see him on the show. I didn't watch any of the documentaries. Did anybody watch the documentaries? I think I might have started the one that won, which is Pennywise: The Story of It, but I do not believe I finished it.
No, it's like surprisingly have not.
No, yeah, I didn't. Even the one you would expect me to.
Yeah.
I did watch the best nonfiction series, which was the 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments of All Time, which has such a corny, it sounds like something you'd see on like E Network or something, it's like, right. But it actually was really well done, and they had a ton of really talented horror people on it as well. So that if you haven't watched that, those shows are, they, obviously there's spoilers and stuff associated with them, but most of the movies they're talking about, I think they do a pretty good job of the ones that are really well known. They understand that the people who are watching this are probably, kind of, longtime genre film fans, so they're not spoiling anything. But the ones that are maybe a little less known that they put on there, they try to intrigue you to watch it rather than spoil it for you. So it was just really well done. And the title makes it sound kind of like tabloidy, but actually is really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think I saw like just social media posts in general about some of the people you said who were involved, like doing their picks, and just like, yeah, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. But I just didn't watch any of those either.
It's a fun thing to put on in the background, honestly. Like that's how I watched a lot of it. It's like you're kind of fucking around your phone, your computer, whatever, and you have it on the background. That's how I watched it. But best series was absolutely stacked too. No surprise, Stranger Things won. It's like when you have this giant cultural phenomenon, of course it's going to win. I've only seen the first 2 seasons. Are they on season 4?
Yeah, 4 finished, and that's what won.
4, yeah, okay. I started season 3, fell off, and haven't went back. I don't know. I'm indifferent to Stranger Things. I like it. It's fine. But Cabinet of Curiosities is so much more interesting for sure. And I fucking love What We Do in the Shadows. Like that is honestly one of the funniest shows I think I've ever watched.
I was a little surprised for this category to have something like Stranger Things and What We Do in the Shadows on it. It just seemed like these are just like insane heavy hitters that like would have ran away with it regardless, versus like putting Yellow Jackets up against Chucky or Cabinet of Curiosities would have been, I think, a really cool like head to head on that. I'm sure there was a couple others that were kind of in it, but
yeah, I haven't finished Cabinet of Curiosities. I've probably only watched the first like 3. But it's super slick as you would imagine, like any Del Toro, production to be. But he just produced it, right? I don't think
he produced it, and then like he handpicked all of the directors that he features. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I don't think he has much creative input. But yeah, there are some hit or miss episodes in that, but I still think overall it's a better. It's just a better series. We're on season 4 of Stranger Things. We get it. It's
Yeah.
Whereas like Cabinet of Curiosities gives you something completely new. What We Do in the Shadows, even though that's also on season 4, like you said, it's the funniest fucking show since Always Sunny.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is there are a few shows that I watch that I'm like, I'm going to laugh out loud several times in each episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stranger Things, again, you know, when such a huge percentage of the population sees something like that, you know, it's hard to beat it. But they did give that Lauren Laverna for the Best New Talent Award, who was the protagonist in Terrifier 2, which love to see that her performance in that movie was fucking, I thought, fantastic. Terrifier 2 also won Best Makeup. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that
Best Kill. Don't forget that.
Yeah, and Best Kill. But I do like, I don't know why. Damien Leone just seems like a really genuine guy to me. And like he did this kind of cool homage to Fangoria and Tom Savini. And so I was happy to see that. Like I've said, I really enjoyed that movie. But I just personally, I think he's an interesting dude.
Yeah, I think, and like, even though I don't like the film, I think him winning Best Makeup Effects is perfect because it's one of those things, again, doing the most with the least. And like, you look at the other nominees, Hellraiser obviously has a big budget behind it. X is, you know, it's got a budget. Crimes of the Future, a budget. And, you know, Barbarian was a studio film as well. Damien Leone just did it all on his own. Yeah. While doing everything else. And I think that's exactly what this award should exemplify, is just like going back to those roots of being a down and dirty, sloppy, making it yourself. Fucking, you know, maybe I don't love the movie, but like I do appreciate all the effects and the way it's pulled off.
Yeah. Best screenplay, The Black Phone. I was actually surprised with how much The Black Phone won. Which I liked it, but I wasn't blown away by it. And I guess I like when Prey won a lot, I was expecting it. Because there was so much fanfare around it and stuff. But like, I don't feel like really people seem to care that much about The Black Phone. When it was out, maybe that's totally a misconception on my part, but the fact that it just kept winning things was surprising for me.
Yeah,
like I mean, really expected Barbarian to have its best chance at in best screenplay, and didn't get it. Black Phone won that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think, with the exception of Nope, any of the screenplays are like super standout amazing. Like, I think Nope is only special because it carries that, you know, as all Jordan Peele films do, they carry that subtext of like, it's about something else.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so like,
yeah, it's a little more layered than Terrifier 2.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why Terrifier 2 is not nominated at all. Like, even though I really like the menu, it's also pretty on the fucking nose about what it's talking about. Whereas Nope has that definite layer of like, he's conveying a story about the way, you know, Hollywood and celebrity in general, like, chews people up and like scrutinizes them is what that film is about. But like, that's not what you see. So,
Yep. What'd you guys think about the clip of the Boogeyman with David Dastmalchian?
Made me real excited.
It looks really good, but fuck, it looks heavy. It's just him talking about his kids getting killed. It's like, holy shit, dude.
And that comes out like on Friday from when this episode comes out, I think. Second.
Yeah. I mean, I'll see it. I mean, it's a Stephen King, you know, adaptation, and like I said, the cast is really good. So I'll definitely see it. But oh boy, it doesn't look like exactly a feel good flick, I would say.
Yeah, that I haven't read the Stephen King story it's based off of, but that really feels like an old Stephen King not shaving off the edges of like, dead kids. That's a terrible thing. And I'm going to use it as a device. He's fucking ruthless in that way. So,
best lead performance we talked about, I think already went to Mia Goth. There was a couple people. I mean, we knew she was going to win it, but there was, you know, I was rooting for Josh Rubin from A Wounded Fawn or Rebecca Hall from Resurrection, because they both did such amazing jobs and probably movies that were not seen nearly as much. But probably I don't know. Just I feel like I didn't get as much attention because those were two like really, really standout performances. But
what are your thoughts on this? Because best lead performance and also supporting performance, but I guess supporting performance didn't bother me as much. But like best lead performance has so many people in it to vote for, and like you're saying, like I like Josh Rubin, and he does a really good job. I wish this was actually split into like 3 different categories.
Sure.
Because like you can give an award to a male performance, a female performance, and then like I think they should have a villain performance.
Well, that's the thing is even more so than like male and female performances. Maybe it is like a lead and then like a best villain or best antagonist type of performance. Like it feels
like a catch-all almost to me. Is like what even?
Yeah, it feels incongruous to put Josh Rubin up against me. Even the 3 you just mentioned. Honestly, Josh Rubin, Mia Goth, and her name just escaped me from Resurrection. Like to put those 3 performances up against each other, like they're so wildly different.
Are those nominees also like voted by like viewers? Like
it's all voted by the readers and everything.
Well, what I'm thinking is even to make the category a little bit more direct is like if all these people were recommended, it's like why don't you choose 5 of them? Like keep all the categories just limited, because it's also just like, okay, we only have 5 things in here, 5 things here, and then like, oh no, now we have 10 people here. Right. It's like, oh, everyone got 1 vote, guys, so we had to put them all in there. I don't know. But
it also just splits the vote weird, because you have like so many favorites, but like I don't know, some people don't want to choose between Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
And because I mean they both do a good job, but also their performances are wildly different in that film as well. So
that's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird to just have best performance. It feels like everyone's getting thrown into a bag and just shaken up,
Yeah. I think they do need like a best villain though, because like then you would
especially in the genre.
Right. Because then you could have Mia Goth for Pearl in lead performance, but then in X as villain, you could have Josh Rubin. You could give David Howard Thornton a nod in best villain for Terrifier 2. So
yeah, he might have run away with it. I don't know.
I'm sure he would have. But
just the slasher icons always are big fan favorites. But
and also it wouldn't be undeserved, because he's like the only one doing a performance that's purely physical. That's an interesting.
It's such an impressive performance. Yeah. Best director, no surprise, went to Jordan Peele. Again, a guy who will probably go down in history as one of the best horror directors of all time. Secretly, I love the idea of Zach Krieger winning that, or Zach Kreger, whatever the guy from the Whitest Kids
Barbarian.
For Barbarian. But I did, you knew who was going to win. You knew Jordan Peele was going to take it. But
also, just a funny thing I just thought of is Zach Kreger was not able to be nominated for Best First Feature because he had already directed Miss March back in 2008.
You told us about that movie. Yeah. I still haven't watched it.
I just thought about it. He couldn't get nominated for that year because he had that shitty fucking comedy film
from 2008. Yeah. I was like, God damn it.
That's funny.
You know what? I did find it funny is that, Jordan Peele is like this giant A-list, director now, because in his acceptance video, which cool for him for sending like an extended acceptance video. But he is wearing those like big old lady glasses, like the old guy from Ocean's 11. So he's a big Hollywood star now.
He's got his big old lady glasses. Although I also did like that he had a "you can't do that on television" piece of artwork hanging behind him.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't see it. All right, down to the last couple here. Best kill, again, not a surprise. Allie's death from Terrifier 2, which, has got to be up there. even if you disagree, that it's one of the best kills in horror history, it's certainly the most violent and intense and brutal that I've ever seen.
At least as far as like slashery type things go.
Yeah. It's just bonkers. Like, it is the only kill that I can remember in my, history of watching horror movies that I was in the theater by myself and literally said, "Oh, fuck," out loud, like in the theater.
Yeah.
It was just so
like
over
weird
the top
to
and
admit
intense.
that when I saw that category and saw that like replayed the scene, I was like, damn it, I need to rewatch Terrifier 2. I got like excited. I was like, oh, this is like such a good scene. Like, it's so, I don't know. I can't get over it. I think
it's just so visceral.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just don't like, have not been a lot of like theater experiences for me in the last, 5 or 8 years where I was just like, I was squirming in my seat. Like, I was animated. Normally I'm just like sitting there, fucking stoned, eating popcorn, like, jaded horror movie fan. But like Terrifier 2, especially this scene, I was like, fuck, like, and everyone in the theater, and it was like a half empty theater, and I still heard like all the other people going like, Jesus Christ. It was just like, that's just something you don't experience very often. Yeah, so no surprise there. And then the last category, which is best wide release movie, the nominees were Barbarian, The Black Phone, Nope, Pearl, and X. And probably the one that I least expected to win is what won, which was The Black Phone. If somebody had to say to me, okay, what was it going to be? I probably would have said X, just because that's what, that just seems to have so much buzz around it. And then second, I would have said Nope. But I certainly wouldn't have said The Black Phone.
Yeah. I probably would have said Nope right off the top.
Yeah, same. Yeah, kind of surprising. I probably, if I ordered it, I probably would say Nope, Pearl, then The Black Phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was surprising, but I like I said, I like that movie. It almost makes me want to go watch it again, because it, the one thing that I can say about like horror genre fans is, it's almost like pop music in a sense, where it's like you got to have a hook to make a really popular movie. Like, you have to have a hook. You have to have something like unique that sticks out to grab somebody. And in this instance, I think it was probably safe to say, the performances were good overall. The kids, the kind of brother and sister were great. The family dynamic around them and stuff. It's like, I don't know. It just felt like you knew where it was going. But Ethan Hawke, I think, is obviously the kind of steal the show type of thing with the mask and all that stuff. And I don't know. It just, maybe I didn't give it enough of a chance, but like, I really was surprised to see how, I guess I underestimated how strongly people felt about that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so too. I mean, I didn't feel terribly strong about it. Like, I like it. It's fine. Yeah. And then but it also feels kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say common. It just feels like a retread of other things that we've seen in the past. Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was doing anything particularly new or different.
Right.
Yeah. And I think like what I felt was weak, or maybe I just didn't care for as much, as like the ghost element of the story just felt super corny in a sense.
I think it's also because we've seen so much ghost stuff with Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
And his adaptations he's been doing on Netflix. That
your damn sad ghosts.
Yeah. I just was like, oh, this is going to be another sad ghost story.
damn sad crying ass ghosts.
Quit your boo-hooing and get back to regular booing.
Quit it with your boo-hooing, you dang old ghost. All right. Well, guys, that was the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Like I said, it was fun to watch, and I would watch it again just to see Steve jump up there and do his thing and get a good laugh, and like, yeah, definitely fun and worth a watch, at least just for that clip at the very least. So
we should write some letters and see if maybe next year Steve can present an award with
oh my gosh,
with Duke, the carousel horse.
Yes,
oh my
Duke the carousel horse,
That'd be
or
so much fun.
I was gonna say just personally Cowboy Cool.
Or Cowboy Cool. I mean, all three of them. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
We skipped international movie.
Oh, we did. Yeah. I didn't write every single one down.
Was Speak No Evil, I think, one, right?
Yeah. Did you guys see it? Is what I was going to ask.
No, I did not.
Okay. Watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything more about that.
All right.
Okay. It's on my list, has been on my list, and just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
Yeah. Don't read anything about it. Don't just watch it.
Okay. Do you know it's streaming on right now?
Oh, I think it's on Shudder right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's everywhere, but I think if you have a Shudder, you can probably watch it.
All right.
Cool.
It's been on the old letterbox and just haven't pulled the trigger on it. So
yeah,
I'll check that some bitch out.
Yeah.
If yins want to check out some movies that we're going to talk about in the old Showdown episode next week, our Showdown episode for June, better tune in. Meg's last Showdown episode. She's going to be defending Wolf Creek from 2005. I'm going to be talking about Tourist Trap from the year of our Lord 1979. And Steve's going to be doing 2000 Maniacs from 1964, 3 radically different movies. So that should be really fun to talk about. And we're going to figure out, is Meg going to go out on top? Is Steve going to do the three-peat? Or is your boy going to play spoiler, as I'm want to do?
No.
All right. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve, and I'm here to nominate a new category for the Fangoria Awards. It's called Best Steve on a Podcast.
Best Steve on a Podcast. You got second. You're in second place, you bitch.
Damn it.
Bye.